If you're frustrated on mixing your drums, in this video, you'll learn how to EQ your kick and snare to sound tight, balanced, and punchy. Before we get started, let's listen to the raw drums. Great, so let's focus on the kick and snare. And for this example, I'm using the BX Console SSL 4000G by Brainworx. This is approved and licensed by Solid State Logic. What's great about this plugin is that it gives you everything that you need on a channel strip, including input gain, noise floor, harmonic distortion, TMT, which I'll talk about later, filters, EQ, and dynamics. Essentially what you need 90% of your mixes. We're going to copy these settings from A to D so we can have a starting point, and we're going to reset our EQ, but everything else we're going to leave intact, including the compressor and the gate. So by listening to the kick drum, let's see what we need to do. The first thing that I want to address is the muddiness on the kick, and that's usually found around the low mids. So what you want to do is you want to use the Q to make it tight, showing by this narrow Q. Boost the gain and sweep the frequency. Yeah. You want to take that stuff out. That cleans it up. If you lose a little volume, you can just crank up this nice fader right there. To add a little bit of subs, you can use a low shelf around 50 or 60 and just crank that up. Very good. And then lastly, if you're losing some of the tick, which we'll hear right now when we play it in context with the rest of the drums, you can crank up the high mids, which is around 3K and also around 10K. Not a lot, just a little for each. Here we go. This is the before and after. Nice. I love having this fader right here because you can just control the balance afterwards, which is really, really important. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the snare. We're going to go through the same concept. We're going to copy our settings to a different preset and reset our EQ. Now notice how these channel strips look identical except for one thing. On the snare track, we're using the orange knob, accessed by this EQ type. Black knob, which is the most standard, and then the orange knob, which is slightly different. What you'll notice that on the black knob, which is the EQ type right here, the lows are fixed to shelf. You can't switch that to bell. But if you switch to orange, then you get the option of making that low band shelf or bell. And the reason that's important is because if you have it on bell, you can boost a tighter band for that frequency, which you'll hear in a moment. So we're going to go through the same approach. We're going to boost the low mids, sweep our frequency, what we want to remove, and then we're going to cut that, all right? Check it out. Somewhere around right there. That cleans it up, but we lose some volume, so we'll crank up the fader. Okay, now to add that impact on the snare, that hit, we're going to boost somewhere around 200, 250. Here we go. Nice, right there. Now that brought the volume up, so we're going to bring this down again. So it's just really a matter of EQing and balancing. Let's hear that with a mix. Now, I still feel that the snare sounds a little bit dull, so we're going to brighten that up a bit. For this case, we're going to use shelf on the high end and just crank up around 10K. Snare is dry, it doesn't have any reverb on it. Balance it, and let's hear that with the band. These are the drums raw. Yeah, that sounds nice and crispy right there. Now, I did mention the TMT earlier, and this stands for Tolerance Modeling Technology. And what this basically does, it accurately replicates variations in the values of over 150 individual electronic components on an analog channel strip. And what that means for you is that when you use this version of the SSL channel strip across your entire mix, and you hit the random button, you get the sonics of a virtual analog desk. So that's all the time that we have for this video. I invite you to join our community, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.